Want to make movies? Hey there, aspiring filmmakers. You're the new Hollywood generation. My name is Orlando Delbert. This is Hollywood Unapologetic. I first wrote about success in filmmaking and life when I was writing Pollyanna's tear-soaked Battlefields of Hollywood, a survival guide against the cynicism and the hypocritical. Today I want to speak about Filmmaking Essentials, reopening Hollywood, completion bonds and guarantees, and a new Hollywood generation. For you, the new Hollywood generation, this directly applies to you. If you haven't watched the episode Reopening Hollywood, Entertainment Production Insurance and a New Hollywood Generation, I'll have a link at the end of this episode for you to check out. While I was writing the initial episode on Reopening Hollywood, I decided it would be best to produce 2 episodes on Reopening Hollywood, Entertainment Production Insurance, and completion bonds and guarantees. I mentioned completion bonds in the last episode and want to continue forward from there. Completion bonds and guarantees and entertainment production insurance are 2 separate important pieces needed for film and television production. Yes, I know, these are not the most exciting topics for many of you. They do have a direct influence to one another, however, and both are something you really should know about and have secured before shooting a single frame. As a quick reminder, while a good entertainment production policy protects the producers, your crew, your gear, and the locations you want to shoot at from liability claims, it is also one of the biggest hurdles to overcome during these coronavirus pandemic days after the safety-related ones. Please keep this in mind because every production is different and has its own set of needs. The same can be said about the insurance industry and how it works, but with every production hit by the shutdown at the same time, the insurance industry was not designed for it. It's not the model that industry follows. The same can be said about completion bonds. A completion bond is a guarantee your motion picture will be completed and delivered to the distributor by an agreed upon date. The completion guarantee protects the financier from over-budget expenditures, misappropriation of funds, and other problems that may happen during the production process. In the event completion is impossible, the guarantor can either loan the production the funds to finish the film or take it over and finish it. The other option is the production is abandoned altogether. When that happens, the production financing, interest, fees, and other costs are to be reimbursed. Once there is a commitment from the distributor that the financier will be repaid upon delivery, it can serve as the collateral for the film production financing. The financier must be prepared to take the credit risk of the distributors. These are details that would be worked out as part of the financier's collateral package. Oftentimes, the completion guarantor obtains reinsurance through a third-party insurance company. This would be a cut-through certificate. A cut-through certificate is a statement that the reinsurer will pay claims. These claims would be made within a specified limits in the contract between the reinsurer and the completion guarantor. This cut-through certificate would be in the amount to cover all of the production financing, including interest, fees, and any other associated costs. At this time, as you already know, the coronavirus pandemic has stopped everything production-related in its tracks. This has caused completion bond experts, insurance companies, union representatives, studio executives, film producers, and politicians to speak to one another and finding a way to move forward again, but it's not clear who will take the bigger hits. As from what I've just mentioned, how the completion guarantor would obtain reinsurance through a third-party insurance company already stops the process right there. As I've mentioned in the last episode, when forced production shutdowns were implemented, multi-million-dollar claims hit their insurance carriers. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has warned us of a second coronavirus wave is expected. This is relative because as productions get closer to starting up, these same productions may likely be an identified risk and insurance will not cover them. No insurance company is going to insure a production against someone potentially contracting COVID-19 either. As you can see, bank financing is tied to insurance and completion bonds. While the studios have deeper pockets to dip into in comparison to the independents, their expenditures most likely will double and still not get the insurance coverage for COVID-19. For independents, however, many will not be able to afford the additional expenditures. Many independent producers are fearful in the event of another production shutdown, they will need to cover it themselves. For example, if an actor contracts COVID-19, production would be forced to stop. The department heads are under contract to continue to get paid daily after a few weeks can be disastrous for the production budget. Bottom line, anyone working as part of any film crew has to accept it is a very tightly run unit. And as I mentioned in the last episode, we as members of a new Hollywood generation are all in it together. We're all in close proximity of one another. And under normal circumstance, sometimes our lives are at risk while on the clock. Today, the risk is higher, and this way of working and living may be with us for months or even years to come. Be safe, be smart, take it all one day at a time, and don't forget to be great. I'm going to add a link at the very end to the episode, Reopening Hollywood, Entertainment Production Insurance and a New Hollywood Generation. If you haven't checked that out, I think you'll dig it. Are you ready for the challenge?